While it is a topic that is often skipped over, an NFL player's first check is one of the most exciting moments in their career. For some players, it means finally breaking out of poverty and being able to take care of their families, while for others, it means that they can cash out on lavish items. Today, we will break down how 10 current and former NFL players spent their first check. Our first player made an incredible investment in the city they play in after signing a record-breaking contract extension. 1. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is arguably the greatest quarterback of this new generation. As soon as he took over as the starting quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, he proved that he had what it took to be a franchise player. Shortly after leading the Chiefs to a Super Bowl over the San Francisco 49ers, he would sign a then record-breaking 10-year, $503 million extension. The first thing he did with that mind-boggling amount of money from the extension was to invest in another Kansas City professional team. He joined on as a member of the Kansas City Royals ownership group. This was a move that made a lot of sense as baseball was Patrick's first love. His father was a member of the MLB, and Mahomes grew up in MLB dugouts. He even went on to play baseball as a pitcher for the Texas Tech Red Raiders in college before deciding to focus purely on football. Up next is a player that built up his wardrobe with his first $1 million spent. 2. Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase is one of the most talented wide receivers in the league. Just as they did in college, Chase and his quarterback, Joe Burrow, have taken the league by storm and have propelled the Cincinnati Bengals to be one of the top teams in football. Growing up, clothes and shoes were something that was very important to Chase. In an interview with GQ, he was quoted as saying, "I was broke, man. I'm not going to lie. I didn't have nothing. The first thing that I bought with my own money was some Allen Iverson Reeboks." As Chase's bank account continued to grow, so did his wardrobe. He spent $50,000 from his first NFL check on clothes and shoes. He was quoted as saying, "I've got some off-white G Nikes, the Trophy Room 5s. I've got some real limited edition kicks. That's just some stuff I always wanted, so I had to go get that." Along with the clothes, he spent $50,000 on jewelry, $20,000 on team dinners, and $300,000 on a car. However, the very first thing that Chase purchased was a $65,000 Maserati for his mom and $15,000 each to his brothers and sisters. What if I told you one former player's first purchase was something that he knew was a knockoff? 3. Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson had a very solid 11-year career as a wide receiver in the NFL. During that time, he played for the Minnesota Vikings, Seattle Seahawks, and Detroit Lions. Despite this, he spent his first check like it was going to be the only one he received. The first thing that Burleson bought was an Escalade. He then made the smart decision of purchasing fake jewelry and then gave some to his parents to help with bills. He was quoted as saying, "I bought an Escalade, a fake watch, and a fake chain. In my mind, I thought no one is going to question if they were real because I was an NFL player and gave my parents money to help with bills." While most would have been happy with themselves for keeping their purchases mostly modest, this was not the case for Burleson, who said, "Looking back, I wish I would have bought a more fuel-efficient vehicle and a home." Up next, we have a player whose first purchase may have only cost him around $20. 4. Joe Flacco. After Joe Flacco became the highest-paid quarterback in NFL history with his contract extension that made him an average of $22.1 million per year, he decided to make his first purchase the furthest thing from lavish that he could think of. Shortly after signing the contract, Flacco was seen stopping at a McDonald's drive-thru. When asked about the situation, he was quoted as saying, "Everything I need, I already had, and everything I want, if I really want it, I can go get it. But there's nothing I really want. I don't need a $100,000 to $10,000 car or anything like that. I mean, I like that four-door Porsche. I like to say I'm going to go buy that. But do I really need it? A year ago I said, if I ever sign a big deal, I'm going to get that Porsche, but I didn't." While Flacco never did go and get that Porsche, he does drive a very nice orange Chevrolet Corvette. Another player had a very similar idea to Flacco when it came to making their first purchase. 5. Matt Judon. Matt Judon also kept things very low-key with his first purchase. The 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end decided to pass on McDonald's, but did decide to go with his favorite fast food spot, Taco Bell. He was quoted as saying, "I like Taco Bell. I mean, obviously I'll have way more money than I'll know what to do with, but while I'm pondering what I'm going to do with my money, I'll be eating a chalupa or something." This player also kept things very simple with the first thing they bought with their NFL check. 6. David Carr. David Carr is the older brother of New Orleans Saints quarterback, Derek Carr. He was the first overall pick to the Houston Texans and after 5 years with the team, he would go on to spend the remaining 7 years of his career playing for the Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, and San Francisco 49ers. After the $14 million signing bonus hit his account in 2001, CARR did not do anything drastic to break the bank. He was quoted as saying, "My wife and I had already bought a beautiful home in Houston, but we had nothing in it. I remember eating pizza while sitting on the floor with my wife, so the first thing we did was buy a couch and a TV. Then we paid the house off. It's very tempting to go out and blow it. Fortunately, I had a great support system, and my dad would have kicked my butt if I spent it recklessly." Up next is a player that gave away one of the first checks he ever got from the NFL. 7. Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick has always been a very charitable person and one to stand up for what he believes in. This held true even when he first joined the NFL. He would go on to give one of his first checks to his parents and ask them to donate it to a charitable cause that helped kids with heart conditions. Kaepernick would go on to be involved with Camp Taylor, which is a camp that is set up for children that suffer from heart defects. They give the kids the chance to meet their heroes like Kaepernick or other athletes that they look up to. This player had one of the funniest first purchases in league history. 8. Shaun O'Hara. Shaun O'Hara spent 11 seasons in the NFL playing center, left guard, and right guard. He spent his first 4 years with the Cleveland Browns before playing his remaining 7 seasons with the New York Giants. He was named a Pro Bowler 3 times and also became a Super Bowl champion with the Giants. After being signed by the Browns as an undrafted free agent, O'Hara let the celebration begin almost immediately, and with his first purchase, he went out and got a keg for himself and his friends. He said, "I'm pretty sure I bought the keg that night for my group of friends." Our next player spent his first check taking care of his daughter. 9. Jimmie Ward. While most players spend their first check on something nice for themselves, this was not the case for Jimmie Ward. Ward was drafted in the first round with the 30th overall pick by the San Francisco 49ers. He has spent the entirety of his 9-year career with the team, but is set to join the Houston Texans in the 2023 season. When he got his first check, he decided to make a big purchase for his daughter by buying her a BMW Mini. To close out the list, we have another player that cashed out for a family member. 10. LaDainian Tomlinson. Tomlinson was one of the greatest running backs of his generation. He was incredibly smart, on and off the field, and the story of his first purchase attests to that. After getting his first check, he bought his mom a house and a car. He said she wanted a Cadillac Escalade, so that's what she got. Other than that, I put my money in the bank and invested it.